I don't agree with factory farming, but I really respect what we're doing here. The pigs, they're just behaving naturally. I mean, nonsense, we're letting pigs be pigs.
Namaste, y'all. We are here at Mount Lucas, the location of Peaceful Pork, where we get all of our pork products. We have the wonderful Sloan from Dutchman's Market who brings them in. He comes and brings them to his place in Fredericksburg from here in Mount Lucas on the Cartwright Ranch. So this is a huge property, a couple thousand acres. I think he said 3,000 acres. We have pigs here that are kind of crossbreed between Red Wattle and Berkshire. We're going to go on a big truck tour. We got the whole team out here. We're doing a little team retreat for Sawyer's birthday. She turned 25 today. We are out here with Loncito Cartwright. He is obviously pig farmer, rancher, owner of this property, tender of the pigs of Peaceful Pork, but he's also known by everybody who's anybody in the locally sourced meat industry, restaurant industry here in Texas and in Austin. So we're really excited. We have the whole team out here. We got the Chudmeister, we got Nate, Sawyer, Lindsay's even out here. We left the baby at home. We got Cole, Matt, Clayton, Jazz, whole team. Let's go. We just arrived south of San Antonio, kind of just outside of Corpus Christi. We're in the middle of nowhere right now. We're gonna go down, see the pigs. They are just having a great time. They're out in the pasture. They're not held up in a pen. They're beautiful. They're happy pigs. They're peaceful pigs, peaceful pork. So let's go check them out.
I need some help.
Yeah.
We'll get you in there. We got to grease them up first.
Started blossoming. It's burnt. You can see just the little bitty leaves on the top, but it has a beautiful white blossom, and it makes the finest honey. Where we are is known as Mount Lucas. So if you get on Google Earth and you type in Mount Lucas, it's a point right out there. There's a USGS monument up on the hill. It's where we're
supposed to get married.
Yeah, one of these days. But this was Mount Lucas, named for Cyrus Lucas, who was my great-great-uncle's father-in-law. My Uncle Holman Cartwright and his wife Claire Lucas came here in 1914, and it was just solid brush. And he was a banker and just a business guy, but he loved ranching. Our family's been in agriculture in Texas forever. Her father gave him this place with the debt that went along with it. And they worked, and he worked here, and then off they'd go, and he worked in Houston, St. Louis, Dallas, all over until he finally, in about the 50s, they were able to move in and live here for good. Yeah. It's looking rough. They've been on this about 3 weeks. They look happy. We weaned them for a week in the pens where they were raised. 3 weeks, 12 weeks here, 3 weeks in each paddock, and then as they gain weight, we move them to, she said they're on fresh country and a little bit of green. So the paddocks are the same size, more or less, but as the pigs get bigger, they put more impact on the ground. And we do it by time because everything has to be timed to the harvest. And they're fed. But we run the cattle in between them during the growing season. So probably around the 1st of May, we've got it fixed where if the pigs are in one pack, the cattle, we can, because of the way we got the gates cut up, so the cows will hit these grass paddocks probably 3 times in a turn before the pigs have gone through. Just love being out here. It's good to share it. So in the late 20s, Houston Oil Company, which is precursor of Humble and all those guys, came down here and they started looking for oil, and they found oil, but they found a lot of natural gas. And at that time, they flared the natural gas, just kicked it off. And my uncle just said, you know what, that ain't right. He just felt like it was a wrong thing to do, and he brought the whole board of Houston Oil down here and talked and got them, I think they had a big time, and talked them into building a pipeline from South Texas to Houston. Half the board resigned when they went back. They said, this is crazy. And it was the beginning of Houston Pipeline, which eventually became Enron. And they started it down here on this ranch. The first gas well is still in production. We use it to heat the house, heat the pool, not the house. But they sold gas for a nickel, 1,000 cubic feet, and put shoes on our feet and kept it going. And that was the first pipeline. Then of course now there are all kinds of pipelines coming out of there. All that pipeline started right here. Well, we're going to go feed pigs, but we want to build a bone tree.
I've got to start a bone tree.
So Matt, this is your next vehicle right here, right?
Dish locker, a mobile gray water compartment.
Little green. That's vetch.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a cow will come in here and take a bite of it, and she'll eat that draw Bermuda, which isn't bad. Fresh green vetch. Oh, they're just fat. Just on this stuff.
Oh, there's a
We'll get ready
spider.
to turn a bunch of cattle.
I just like glanced over and I was like, oh, there's a bone.
Oh, it's the bone.
Oh,
Hank Williams. It's a damn oasis, and it just backs up over all this country. But that's what's happening is the lake's just running out of water. I mean, 50% of it, 50% of the capacity is gone, and it's what happens.
Are those reds?
That'd be the gar. Probably a big, although it looks like catfish fins. Mud is about 3 feet deep out there.
Oh, I believe it.
You sink like. So this was all dry ground back to the last drought, and I had goats, and they would walk out, getting the little bits of green, and then they'd get their legs stuck. And I'm not a little fella, and I'd go as far as I could, and I'd start sinking the mud. I'd have to lay on my side and roll and carry a rope. We'd have 150 foot of string, and they'd I'd pull them out and roll back and get on dry ground and hook it to my four-wheeler and yank them out of the mud. Half red water. The yellow ones we think are probably 3/4 Berkshire. We're hoping that ones, we'd love to come up with that being our pig, this big cell right here on the end.
Has that always been your cross?
No, we've been all over the board.
Okay.
We've tried everything.
Okay.
And
the red wattle has been kind of
the red wattle's always been
okay.
a big part of it. We had large blacks. We had the pata negra, or what do you call them, the mule foot. We had all sorts, and I think it's the red wattle and the Berkshires just changed the whole.
The blondes.
Hey, Porky.
Yeah, they don't fade.
That's amazing.
And so the mamas and daddies get together
Okay, yeah.
every 90.
When two pigs really love each other.
I wanted to be the one to explain this to her.
There's two sets of mamas.
Okay.
And so one set has babies. 90 days later, the next set has babies, because they have them twice a year, every 6 months, the way we've got them set up. So you go 90 days and the next set has babies, and we rotate them through all these pastures, again, trying to rest the pasture, give them something clean to go to, and run cattle in between them. The babies are born, which we'll see in the morning, and they stay on the mamas about 2 months. And then we wean them, and then they go down there to the end. Those piglets we saw on the very end of that pasture, they start there, and it's 180 days from there to right here. And then when they hit this part, and so you've got another set coming on every 90 days. So that bunch right there, and those are the ones that I've got to pull one more out tomorrow. Julie refers to this as the Green Mile. They're ready, so they're 180 to 270 days old right there. We're towards the end of this lot. But what's great about working with chefs is the normal pig, production hogs are like 240 pounds. Ours are live. Ours are 340, 350, so they've gotten some fat on them. They're not trying to put fat on because the efficiencies of feed and a feedlot, there's a point where all of a sudden it costs more to raise them than you're getting paid back, and they're selling, pork chops. That they, when I started, we had that much fat on the outside, and I think sometimes you may get it, but we're looking for about that. If we can do that, we're good. Her father is a grass-based guy from Ecuador. He runs dairies at 7,000 feet. And he came down to visit. When he walked out in these pigs with us, and he immediately got on his knees and started breaking up the pig poop. And he looked at the poop and he goes, my God, look at the grass these pigs are eating. And there's no reason for a pig to eat. The pig's got all the feed they want, but they're eating that grass, and it's got to be doing something to the meat. And they're eating it. The pig won't eat something if they don't want it. And you'll see them, and they'll pick up a weed, or they'll have a mouthful of grass, or they're shaking a bush, breaking a limb. Something's happening. We just don't know exactly what it is. It's kind of cool.
Where are they from?
Red Wattles from East Texas.
Oh, okay.
They were, they're kind of like a Duroc, but they've got those wattles, and they're cool pigs.
They think they came over in the Mayflower. Their first mention of the Berkshires was in the time of Oliver Cromwell, and they're known for their marbling, good marmots, and they're generally black with that white splash on their nose.
They're amazing. I mean, we'll see that tomorrow. We'll take we feed them in the mornings, because I don't like to disturb them. But when they come running up, it's so cool. I mean, those little babies are just, I love it.
I feel like you figured it out.
But it,
right? But
it's a little
but it's
every
the
day
fencing,
it's
the
something new.
watering,
Right.
the pasture, how many pigs per acre, timing, and then finding the butcher, finding.
We're figuring it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everyone thinks
Yeah.
we figured it
Yeah.
out, but we have now.
It's a learning journey.
Yeah,
Because
we got a little sex shop set up. We're
Yeah.
gonna have them so the little ones can watch the big ones, because they don't know what to do.
by April, we'll take them down to watch their daddies. They've got those 3 red dads
That's
down
how
there.
I learned.
Yeah, basically, exactly.
You sure you're not from Mississippi?
Because the assumption is that the animals know what to do, but they don't. And the same with keeping the boars and I can't even believe I have these conversations. It's a difference between, I'm a vegetarian. 1, I don't like meat, which helps, but 2, I don't agree with factory farming. I mean, I don't agree with that side of the thing. So all my friends say, are you eating meat yet? Well, no, I'm not, but I really respect what we're doing here. The pigs, they're just behaving naturally. I mean, nonsense, we're letting pigs be pigs.
Can I cannonball? Is that okay? It's cold!
It's not a LeRoy and Lewis outing until Cole gets naked and jumps in the nearest body of water.
What can I say? All right, gotta get back into pee.
Not a bad view, tell you what, bud. Hey. Hey.
Bitty, bitty, bitty. Yeah, that's right.
Hi, buddy. Hi.
Grass-fed is good.
So the deal about grass-fed is the omega-6, omega-3 ratio. If you get that ratio right, it's supposed to be better for your heart.
Yeah.
And so that, if it's purely grass-fed and finished, you get that ratio about the same as you do on salmon. It's not as high because they don't have the fat, but the ratio is the same. But until we test our meat and make sure that it's in there, I don't want to be talking through my hat. So this is a sow on the outside. You see how big she is? And she never bred. And so what we're going through now, and the ones that don't breed, we're cutting out. We'll do about 2 of those a week, or 2 every other week. They're probably going to be almost primarily for sausage, although I think those big shoulders are working for the pulled pork.
So if you don't breed, you just have extra fat that is not distributed to
and they're just and so they just get huge. I mean, those sows will weigh 450. They're going to have a gigantic carcass. Look, and that's the cool thing from a business standpoint, that those mamas are going to make as good a pork. I mean, some of those big shoulders are coming off those sides. And there's nothing wrong with them. They're massive.
This is Mac, Marvin, and Charlie. Because when I got them, and they were up by the house, and so we had them when they were little.
They're longer and leaner than a bird. I think there's something. The red wattle's supposed to have a redder meat, and I think they're just rangier, so that the mamas are going to do better, and the babies are going to do better in the environment we have versus a barn. Hopefully, we're going to come up with some mix of red wattle and bird that's right, and then we start breeding that. So we start line breeding and have the same kind.
They're so little.
These are about a week old. These started when the snow hit. So mama lays down, she has babies, she spits them out, they're trying to figure it out. These other piglets will run over and drink the first milk. And the piglets live, but they don't have the immunities that their siblings do. And they'll go along, they'll look fine, and then they'll die. So what we've done is we're looking at them, and sort of the real pregnant ones we put in one pile, and then the less pregnant ones in another group. But we're watching, and after about a week or 10 days, we
Integrate.
we separate them so that the next group has babies on their own, and they'll follow. The mamas lay with their babies for a couple of days without even moving, right at first. Don't mess with my baby.
You ever tried pig milk, Luncey, too?
No, my daughter's funny. We had them up there. We had an old tank, nicknamed it Pig Eddie. And Lily went and said, "Can I milk one?" I said, "Yeah, you can try." She ran over there and pulled one and then ran like crazy. I said, "No, I don't think this is going to be a good idea."
How you doing today, Nathan?
Oh, not great.
2 months of mama, 6 months in this deal, and then we harvest them over a 3-month period. Mamas have their first babies at 12 months. They'll breed at 8, have babies at 12, and they'll go as long as they're having babies. They'll just stay in the system. Usually 3 or 4 years.
Now, how did the alligator come to be here? Was it?
Swam.
Is it just always like just one?
No, the river, the Nueces River's loaded.
There's alligators all over.
Up the river.
Yeah.
We've got bald eagles. We've got right north of us. I've seen one here, at about a mile north, are the most southerly nesting pairs of bald eagles in North America.
Hey, piggies.
How fresh are the hogs that we get?
Like a week dead.
Really?
Thank you, Lancey to Cartwright and Julie, for having us here at your home at the Cartwright Ranch at Mount Lucas. Thank you for all the hospitality, showing us your entire wonderful, amazing operation here, for putting us up, for dealing with us, feeding us. We had an amazing time. This place is incredible. Can't wait to come back. One of the coolest parts about being here is actually seeing where we get the pigs that we, break down and cook each and every week. Just kind of seeing the pigs and how happy they are, just seeing the life that they live, kind of being a part of the process of how they are raised, and just witnessing that here is really important and really special for us and for our team. We're really happy to bring everybody out here this week.
Hi.
Happy birthday, Sawyer.
Thanks.
Happy birthday, Sire.
Thank you. I'm old now. I'm old. No, don't film me!